video clip, I will be showing how to read from a text file and just a few other little bits of important things in Java. Okay, so let's look at this simple Java program. And the first thing that you see is the commenting / double asterisk and then ending with single and a /. Notice when you enter / double asterisk and then press the enter key, you will actually automatically get these single ones, and then you can enter the author name and the date and the purpose of the program. And if you do have different versions and you change things in the program, you can enter those dates as well. For the assignment, it's most important that you put your complete name and your student ID as well. And this type of documentation or commenting is different to the other commenting that we have down here, which is a single asterisk. And then ending, this is a block comment. And this is a single line comment, which is // Okay, and the difference is that the ones in this section, document commenting, is available for those outside the class. Anyone can read that commenting. In fact, when you go to your API documents here, like if you look at any class, let's look at java.util, and this is your inside here. Let's look at the scanner class. And if you want to know what some of the methods do, for example, has next line, I'm going to search for that. And here's the method has next line. What does it do? We can read a brief summary of what it does. Returns true if there's another line in the input of this scanner. Now notice, so this is what they have entered into the document comment when they're writing that class. Okay, so this method has next line, they have entered that, and therefore we can see that. Okay, any other commenting within the method we cannot see. So that likewise yours is the same thing. Okay, so you have the same thing here. Whatever you enter here is like a document comment. So that's important that you make it very clear what the purpose of the program is. And then when we come in here, we first import what we need to use. These are packages, and to use the scanner class, we need to import java.util package, and to use the file class, we need to import java.io file, and the IO exception. Now, the purpose of this IO exception is to handle any errors while reading and writing to files or from the keyboard input. Okay, but the purpose of this, now we actually enter this here, throws IO exception, just if there is any problem while reading. Okay, for example, maybe you've asked for an integer, the user enters double, or you're trying to read in from a file and the file doesn't actually exist. So instead of crashing the program, you could actually have a way to catch this error and display an appropriate error message rather than just crash without telling the user why. So that's why this IO exception is quite useful. But for now, we're just having throws IO exception here, but we're not catching it. Just keep it simple for now. And also, you're not expected to catch it and display appropriate error messages for the assignment either. Okay, so now the first thing, you've done this before, so I don't have to explain too much, but when you want to read something from the keyboard, in this case, we've given a name called keyboard, variable name. You can just give what you like to give, but it's good to have it more meaningful. So I've given keyboard is of type class, which is scanner class. And now we're creating a new instance of the scanner class and saying this, the data input is streamed in from system.in, just like you've done system.out before. Okay, system.out.println, and it's to the screen. This is coming from the keyboard. Now notice here, I've just explained what we are doing with the file. What's different about a file, right? First, we just want to open, or we'll ask the user what's the name of the file that they have, right? Because we are saying that we don't know, because each time the user may have a different file name. So we want to ask the user, and we say enter the file name to read the data from. And then, now notice here we are reading in using a method that's available in the scanner class. Okay. Why am I doing that? Why am I able to do that? Because keyboard is declared here, created. We've created an object of type scanner. And then what we are doing now is going to say read the next line, right? That means read entirely whatever user enters into that line until the new line character, until they pressed enter, but it doesn't include the enter new line character. Okay, so it just reads all the text and then it stores it in file name. Now notice here I've just got, this is just to show you this is named as file name. So whatever the user entered, like let's say they entered data.txt, that will be in here as data.txt. So this is just a string class, right? And after that, we want to now assign that or make a file to indicate that it is a file. So we're using the class file and notice a new name called file to read. So I've drawn here of this type, file type is file to read, a new name we have given. We're still trying to do all this just for one file, but we're giving different names. First, it's the name, simple name of the text file, and then what we refer to as the class file, and then we actually create a scanner type of that file. So file to read and create a new instance of file, and we use the file name. We tell them to create it using the file name that the user entered. So in this case, it might be data.txt. So this gets read in as data.txt, and whatever is in there is going to be created as a file class. But we're still not going to be able to use next line and reading in, next int or whatever until we make it a scanner class type. Okay, so now we are going to say declare it as scanner. Okay, and then just messed up a little bit here. Okay, so and then scanner input file, notice another new name, so that's why I've given here input file. This is all three. We are trying to deal with just one file, but we've got three different names, and the third one is the input file. That's the time we can actually now start reading from. We can read it from the input file. Okay, scanner input file, new instance of scanner class of type file to read here. The name is file to read. So we've got file to read, right? And so first it had to be a string, plain string, and then it was a file, then it's a scanner, but notice how we've given the names. Okay, use the file name that the user entered, and we made it into a file class, and then we also call it file to read. Now this is the actual file that we are telling that it should be of scanner class. Now we can use any methods that are available in scanner class to do any of the reading. Okay, one of those ones that we will be using is has next line. Now if you want to know what has next line does, we've just seen that one here. So we've gone into, I would like you to actually get used to looking up the API and going to the packages and finding the package that you want, and then going to the class that you want and reading in and looking for what you want to find. So in this case, has next line. Notice it shows what it returns, and it just simply says returns true if there's is another line in the input of this scanner. Okay, so is there another line in this scanner? Okay, so we are seeing if not input file dot has next line. So from now on, because we want to use all the methods available in scanner class, we are going to actually use the name that we gave as a scanner class, the object that we created as a type scanner class, input file. So now we are going to say if there is no next line, which means input file dot has next line. Notice it's empty, you don't have to send any arguments, and we put not, and then we want to display the message, the file name is empty. Now notice I did not use input file here, because if you want to print the actual name of the file, that's simply in file name string. Okay, so, and in this case, once we printed that error message, that file is empty, we've closed the curly brackets and finished the if statement. But we could also have an else here and then carry this bit out only if this is not true. Okay, because if there's some more data, then we can go and do this. But I've just done it like this because it will still work this way, because we will check if there's no next line, it will still come to end anyway. So while input file has next line, right, go into the line and read what's inside. Okay, first allocate a variable here of type name, age, and then read, which is next line, next line. Now notice why I've read it as a next line is because in my data file, I've actually entered them as the first line has the full name of the person, the second line has the age. And I'll show you that shortly. Okay, so then after that, we are just printing out the name and the age of the person, and afterwards we close the file. We finished. Okay, so we have